Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Potter?
Here.
Mrs. Tasio? Here. Mrs. Kelly? Here. Mr. Farrell?
Here.
Mr. Lobenstein?
He's excused.
Mr. Rainier?
Here.
Mr. Shapiro?
Here.
Mr. Long?
Here.
Mr. Bayshore? Here. Ms. Straley? Here.
Okay, public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given by the clerk in the following manner. 1, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 5th, 2023, and 2, emailed to the retrospect and courier post on January 5th, 2023. First order of business is the approval of minutes. The motion is in order for the approval of minutes of the February 28th and March 7th meetings submitted by the clerk to each member has received copies of this.
I'll make that motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Ms. Kelly,
I'll second it.
second by Ms. Passio. All in favor? Aye. All right, that's good. We have a special guest here this evening. We have Maureen Bergeron of the Camden County Health Department to present an overview of the available services.
So this is a little awkward because I don't know, am I supposed to go this way or this way?
I think you should kind of make it right in the middle.
So my name is Maureen Bergeron. I'm Director of Senior and Disabled Services for Camden County. And one of the things that the the Health Department is very proud of is that we are the only one in the state of New Jersey who is accredited. And part of the accreditation of our health department is education. So we decided that we're going to go to each municipality representative, and I want to let you know that since I have the most years served in the county, that I got to pick the ones I wanted to go, and I did pick Runnemede because I love all you guys.
It's
And
good to see you.
I know, it is wonderful to see such friendly faces. I used to be on council in Barrington, so we always worked very well together. And also our liaison, our commissioner liaison is a resident of Runnemede, and so I wanted to make sure the best will came to this town. Yes, I'm saying no, I'm kidding. So anyway, and her name is Ginny Betteridge. If you weren't aware that she was our commissioner now. I think she was the mayor here, right? For a couple years. Mm-hmm. So basically there's a few things that I do want to let everyone know. Commissioner Capelli was part of a class action lawsuit for the opioid epidemic, and they were awarded a lot, so I don't know how much, but several thousands of dollars. And with that funding, all of the schools now in Camden County have Narcan. We also are working to make sure that all of the buses have it as well. I know that there's some that I'm not sure if Runnemede has Narcan on their buses yet, but I know that is something that they're working on because I believe it was Gloucester Township, a child died because he touched it. So even if they're not doing the drugs, it is possible that they can overdose by just being near it. So we want to make sure with all of this funding that we got that everybody is safe within Camden County and that we have plenty of Narcan. Almost all of the staff at the health department has to get trained to be able to utilize it, and we're going to be putting it in our county vehicles. So they are very proud of how they are handling, making sure that if there's an emergency, we're all prepared to take care of it. So that's what's going on with the opioid epidemic, and we also have increased our mental health and addiction task force. Just to give a little history, I've been in the county for 31 years. And when I first started, there was a huge addiction unit in our department. And then with whenever the government changes administration, sometimes that's usually the first funding that goes. So I saw it where there was 30 people, staff members, working in addictions and mental health, down to 0. They took it all away. I guess with the Christie administration, I'm not trying to talk politics, I'm just saying that he got rid of it. And then now we are back at full staff and funding for mental health, because that has been one of the biggest issues that there is right now in senior services. I'm not sure if the chief got notice of this yet, but we are offering free training to all the police officers on Alzheimer's and how to handle the situation if they come in contact with a senior that's either has autism or if they have mental health issues. So that is something that we are doing. I know that, I think, Erin, did she reach out? Yes, Erin is one of my employees.
I will personally be there, and I'll make sure that other people I know personally. So.
Awesome. So she's very excited to take that on, and so that's one of the things we're doing. We want our local government to know who we are, so that they know that we are here. We want to be partners. Senior service, one thing about Runnemede is you guys are good partners. I see our senior representative, Val, is here. She comes to our monthly meetings, and we talk about all the fun stuff that seniors have to offer. The bingos, the Just for Seniors events. The one thing I'm noticing with seniors is that after the epidemic, we have seen our social day centers increase. We went from, right before the pandemic, having hardly anyone. I have a wait list now. And we're talking younger seniors are joining, which if you would have asked me before the pandemic, I thought we were a dying breed and we had to reinvent ourselves. So it's very interesting. We have about 75 people now on our wait list at our Carroll Norcross Center. And basically what that is a drop-in center in Blackwood. We give a nutritious lunch. Seniors can go on shopping trips. We can pick them up at their house, or they can drive in. There is a craft floor with kilns where they can do some ceramics. And that's what I was thinking was a dying breed, because before the pandemic, I couldn't get any of the seniors to do those type of crafts. Now we have wait lists. It's amazing. We are looking at different ways we are trying to get more of the social day programs throughout the county. We're looking at Winslow right now. We definitely have to go to Camden City and Cherry Hill. So right now, and Lawnside is opening one up as well. Let me see here. We have, in the health department, we do have housing inspectors that can come out if there's issues with property maintenance, if there's problems. This is really going to sound harsh what I'm going to say, but I have this phone call every single day. Mrs. Jones next door, she's got Alzheimer's and she's a hoarder. Hoarding is up and through the roof, by the way, and I'm looking to try to figure how we can handle that. The numbers have totally increased, and I know that's a problem. And it's very expensive to clean out hoarders' properties, but it is on my radar, and I am listening to what other states are doing so we can address it here in New Jersey. But every single day I get a phone call that somebody is wandering and they don't think they have mental health issues, and they're not cutting their grass, they're not doing this, but we don't want to fine her. Finer. Because guess what? Families won't get involved until it hits their pocketbook. And it's harsh and it's mean and it's all of those things, but if they say they can choose to live in filth, you can choose. Unfortunately, the mental health laws do not address, they really protect people that aren't mentally ill against abuse. But with that, if they know who the President of the United States is, they can choose to live the way they are. They can choose to take all of their money and give it to a prince in Nigeria or whatever, and there's nothing we can do. We can educate, and fraud, by the way, is completely up. Do not answer your phones, we tell our seniors. Val, right? Don't we say that? Do not answer the phone if you don't know it, and nobody's calling you. The IRS is not calling you, and that is one of the things that if you have loved ones at home, please tell them, do not answer your phone unless you know who it is. The scams, I'm sure the chief can tell you, unbelievable, unbelievable, and guess what? The FBI doesn't care. They don't care if you lost $1 million. They will not answer your phone calls. They do not care. The only way is if you know immediately and your local chief can help you with it. And it's only if within, 48 hours that you can do something? So that is the biggest message that I can give. I could go on and on for hours, but I'm sure you're not interested. I just want to take questions of what.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
You said, a person has Alzheimer's or dementia or whatever, and the lawn is a disarray or growing and they're a hoarder, and fine. That's cruel.
I know.
Wait a minute, that's cruel. So if a person has dementia and Alzheimer's, her family's probably not even going to see that little certain note that they get saying, you need to either clean up your yard, or you're going to have to pay an X amount of dollars, or you're going to have to go to court. So who's going to bring him to court? Wouldn't it be nice if we had some volunteers maybe out there to help people like this?
And we try, and this is last resort. Like, we do everything we can. We go to the house, I get a social worker. I have a contracts with Oaks Integrated Care. We bring them into the house. I'm talking worse. I went from A to Z. I didn't tell you the middle part. It takes, and we have the housing department come out. We have locals that know the people come out and help us. When we get to level Z, we're telling you that's the only way, because once they get to that point, then maybe we can get them into assisted living. Or maybe if they need to go into a nursing home, then we can get them there.
So it would be the family that you have to talk to, not just...
And the family, a lot of times, they don't want anything.
No.
And it's really sad.
You can go
It's
to a nursing
really
home
sad.
and you see how many people visit.
So by doing that doesn't bring the families involved, a lot of times.
Sometimes it does, because if they're looking, and I hate to say it, but the reason why they're usually, if you have Alzheimer's and you're in the home, a lot of times it's because the kids want the inheritance, the house. So really, I know it sounds awful.
It sounds awful.
I say it sounds awful, but really you are helping the senior, because
Security has to do
Right,
with all of it.
right.
We understand all that.
yeah, that's if the family's not involved, you gotta just kind of say, really, what is going on? What is their interest? And unfortunately, we're seeing it more and more.
So if you bring in a social worker, you bring somebody in, then would you appoint like a caregiver for that person, and then that person becomes responsible?
Well, the way that would work is adult protective services that we have in Camden County. Again, if you know the President of the United States, they can't help. If they, and this is a battle that I personally have been fighting for 15 years, because I do not agree with the way our, in Camden County, adult protective services works. I'm sure, Chief, you can agree with me. I say to their face, this is nothing if you repeat Maureen said, they already know what I said.
You're saying the threshold is just too low,
Yes, they don't come out. If you know who the president is, they don't come out. It's hard. You're allowed to
Ask them what
live.
day it is, they might not know that one.
And if they're being financially abused by their children or a caregiver, that's common. Caregivers come in. You got to check with that. If you bring somebody in home to help you with in-home care, I would say make sure, if it's not a family member, that somebody you love, make sure it's an accredited company that does background checks on their caregivers. I've seen a lot of it where the elderly will give everything to their caregiver. And if they choose to do that, then they're allowed. So screening process is important. And if they come from a company, that you hire a company, they're not allowed to take anything, no gifts, nothing. So that's a way to protect yourself from that. No.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there any other type of question?
Do you want to open up to the audience, since we have a special guest here? Does anyone have any questions? How about the young lady in the front row? Maybe there's an opportunity here?
Oh, really?
Oh, what is this housing problem here?
Well, it was funny when you talked about, helping, this is the kind of issues that does come to us, and we're caught in the same situation. We only have limited resources, limited abilities to go on people's properties, but helping out seniors, if that's an opportunity,
Right. I'll give you my card, and I'm the type that if I don't know the answer, I know the person that will, and I won't just say, oh, I don't know. I'll find out for you.
Yeah, the next town meeting with Camden County, I've asked a question, so hopefully I'll be able to get something there too, but I'll.
Well, it would be me answering it, so whatever question you asked, I haven't gotten it yet. If it's about a senior.
At the town meeting?
I answer all the questions that the pre-questions, they send it to me, I answer them, so.
Definitely want your card.
Yeah.
Maureen, can I have your card also? And are you involved in coming over to the senior center on 15th? Because I just got a phone call today.
That's going to be my number 2, Erin
Erin?
Gabriel. She
Okay.
lives in Runnemede, so I usually, when I have my staff members, I allow them to do their own town.
Okay.
So she's going to be there.
Erin, you said.
Erin Gabriel.
Okay.
Mhm.
You're opening a lot of daycare centers. Are any of them going to be able to take dementia people?
These are social day. No, we do not have medical day. The medical day, the guidelines, the government really can't, it's too much of a liability, right, Dan? You would tell us no. When you asked, that's basically why we don't have it. Our council said we can't do that. But there are medical daycare centers. Yes, you have to pay for them. Yep.
Senior care.
Mhm. But if you're on Medicaid, you can get welfare, Medicaid, then they will let you go for free. And I think if you're like in between, if you're low income but not quite Medicaid, there are some grants out there. You would just have to ask the particular medical daycare provider about that.
All right, Maureen, appreciate it.
Anyone else?
Very informative.
Yeah.
Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome anytime.
Thank you so much.
Yep, and if I have to do this again, I will choose your
All
town.
right.
Thank you, Maureen.
All right. All right, we're going to move on to the other items before the committee reports. We have the Hidden Valley Crawlers event on 4/23/23. So we have an application that was submitted to everybody. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a discussion, sir. I've always filled out these event forms, as you can see, 2023, and I've always had to do a description of what I'm doing in an event, everything. So I don't see anything on here, but I understand that the action plan is what he should be handing in so we know exactly what's going to be taking place on that day. So that's my concern there, exactly what's going to go on down there. And also, I'm really concerned about its liability. And, is it safe down there? Is it safe for, they built things down there. Is it safe for people, the environment? And that's all. I just want to, just tell me that it is. And,
So one question I had, so this application, so you're saying there's something missing on this
there's something
application?
missing on here,
So-
which is no insurance.
No, the
Yeah, okay. So
application,
you see how this is, I handed in these.
but this is what we gave somebody.
Yeah, I know, they took off the
So what we gave
part-
is, we took off the part that
Okay,
needs to
but I
happen.
understand that the action plan prepared and the briefing.
All right.
That would be
All right,
the
but-
description, correct?
Actually, if I remember, yeah, I would say.
So that would be the description.
I mean,
So, and I don't think you have done
Did
that.
we,
So-
isn't that the last week?
do you mind if I bring you up and you can at least tell what the activity is going to be? Because just tell us what the activity is going to be that day.
Do you see all these, all the fire chief, the EMS, all of them cannot sign off unless they see an action plan on what
Okay.
he's going to do?
This is for the event on the 23rd.
It's
Yes.
for all your events, yeah.
But the only application we have is this one in front of us right now, the 23rd.
Oh, so we're not discussing the other events?
Not right now. I can only do this one to start.
Okay, so the 23rd event is going to be our spring opener. It's going to be basically a get-together. It's not a competition. It's not a charged event. We're just, everybody's getting together, running their trucks. It's basically a meetup. We might do like a pop-up fun competition, but it's not going to be like a charged event.
Okay, so what else would you want to know? Is there going to be food or entertainment?
No.
So is it like a fundraiser, or you have an
It's
event
just-
that you're selling anything? Like,
No, it's just a meetup. Guys are going to bring stuff to put on the tables to display, like a show and shine kind of thing, and
So no charge, no food, no entertainment, no vendors?
no.
Okay, it's just a getting together to
Yes.
start off with.
Yep.
And you do know that for each event, you have to have the insurance certificate
We-
naming us as a...
Yes, we have our insurance. It's paid up through the entire year.
Did you get the event? Did you get that certificate of insurance for this event?
We're insured for the entire year.
I know that, but it has to be for each event. You have to call your insurance company and ask them for exactly what you need. You need insurance to cover the
Just-
event.
Each time, just submit the insurance application with the insurance certificate with each application.
Just a copy.
With the date and times that you're going to be there.
Naming us as an additional insurance, it's simple.
I'm new to the whole thing, so
Yeah, no,
I'm,
it happens.
You
They'll
just
know
call
exactly.
your company, they'll know what to do.
okay.
Yep.
I think what I think Mrs. Kelly is just making sure you have insurance and that it covers the
and that'll cover
activities
it.
that you have.
And once I see the,
And it
once we have
names
the
us as the
insurance and we're named as
additional
the
insured,
additional
correct?
insured, yes, then I am satisfied liability-wise. Councilwoman Pass, yeah.
Beth, did you get the insurance certificate? Is that,
I haven't, but I've only been doing this for 4 days.
I was unaware that we had to send it to you every time. Like, nobody said that we had to send you an insurance.
It just might be wise to make a copy of it each time and attach it to the application.
Yeah, just
Okay.
touch with each application, we're good to go.
All right, so it's basically just to show that we have the insurance. and-
Exactly.
And it hasn't
naming us as
expired.
Additional insured.
Okay.
Okay?
was there any other discussion about this? The concerns?
Well, I told you, my concern is the liability down there, is it safe? Do we know that for sure?
Has anybody been down there since we did the cleanup?
I have.
Did you see all the work we did?
There's still piles down there, and I see that, a lot of the debris has been spread out. So,
All right, well, how about we just, this is, someone make a motion to either approve or deny?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Quick, even though it's not a...
Pending the submission of the.
Okay, pending insurance
Pending the insurance submission.
and the sign off from the other departments, correct?
yes, please.
Okay, so you have that sign up from the fire chief and the public works, but we'll take care of that. As long as if they have any concerns, they'll get a hold of you. I think the chief already looked at it, so I think he's okay. So insurance certificate,
And I'm just sending that to Joyce.
Joyce is away, so
That's
bad.
But
Oh, I'm
if
sorry.
you send it to her, I check her email.
So your spring opener, you're not charging, no food, no entertainment, no vendors, and you clean up after you're done.
Yep.
Okay, can you just do a quick roll call, just because I'd like everybody to be, and we can do a voice vote, but I'd rather have a...
That's fine. Mrs. Passio?
I told you before, this is how I feel, I'm gonna say no. And the reason being, I want to be told that there's no liability down there, that it's safe for anybody that goes down there.
Mrs. Kelly?
No, because all the conditions have not been met.
Pending the conditions being met. Okay.
I still vote no.
Okay. Just so you know.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein, absent. Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
All right, 3-2. Okay, you're good for this one, but you hear the concerns.
Well, good if.
Yes.
And pending those things, so if you do not get the insurance submitted, I would also ask you if you would, because this action plan should be something, you should give us a little description so we know what's going on down there. This way everyone can look at it, and as soon as you can get it to us, we'll let the fire chief, DPW, everyone else look at that to make sure.
So, in the future, every time I submit for a new event, I have to send the action plan for each
Yeah,
event?
because if an event where you're having competition, it sounds like you want to do that. If you have vendors, we would want to know. If you're going to have food trucks.
We never have food.
Once again, there's.
Just be as detailed as possible.
Yeah, because when we're trying to use this application, and Ms. Passio points out that we might want to expand on this application so that we get the information ahead of time. Now, in the future, we may, depending on how we move forward, I know it's important to you to kind of have a schedule. Let's get through this one and then see about a potential schedule if we can start to answer some of these other questions and concerns.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You want to give that to, okay. Okay, used car lot license. This one should be easier. Is all the paperwork in order?
Yes.
All right. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the used car lot license for Century Motors?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Farrell. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Shapiro. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that passes. Okay, committee reports. Mr. Ranieri.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. Last week, we introduced our 2023 budget. I want to thank Shelley, Chris, and all those involved in introducing the budget. Our budget provides all the services that keeps our community moving forward. Despite inflation, increased waste disposal fees, recycling fees that are at an all-time high, fuel costs, and many more, things are just astronomically getting more expensive. Our 2023 budget includes many projects regarding our infrastructure, our building improvements, and retrofits. Mayor and council for over a decade have been working hard to provide these services while keeping our taxes as low as possible. Our municipal tax increase this year, based on the average home, the value of the average home, $148,000, is less than $6 per month. Mayor and council will continue to work hard to bring more services to our community and keep our taxes as low as possible, and the rest is progress.
All right, thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Okay, public safety. Ms. Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor. Property maintenance report by Buck Hotel. We had 28 complaints for property maintenance. He re-inspected 16. He issued 43 CO inspections, and he issued 6 court summonses. So you'll be seeing him before the different properties before the judge. Okay. Our fire division report. They had 42 calls for service, 20 within the borough of Runnemede, and 22 mutual aid to other communities. They maintained an 8.8 minute response time for all incidents. They worked with the Cherry Hill Fire Department on the turnpike, and they responded and extinguished a car fire. And all the members attended the 56th Annual Hero Scholarship Dinner, where 7 members of the fire department were honored. And I talked about that last month. Patty, you went? What? To the Hero Scholarships?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And did you have a good time?
Well, yeah, right after that I got COVID, but
Okay, well, thank you, Patty.
thanks for sending me, Eleanor.
Okay.
I sat with the EMTs, all the young kids.
All right, our EMS in Runnemede had 31 calls for service. They had mutual aid 10 times from other towns, and they provided a breakdown of all 88 EMS incidents and show our shared service coverage times required mutual aid into Runnemede 17 times. Our men are only there from 9 No, from 6 to 3. After that, Barrington takes over. They do our nights, and they do our weekends. We have 100% coverage, and that is because of the shared service that is working out so well. But we still do our duty during the day. And like I said, they're here from 6 to 3, and they respond to all the EMS services that they're asked to do. The fire marshal had 101 inspections last month, and he collected fees of $11,780.06. There were no fire lane violations and no fire inspections. Our police department was super busy. 1,275 calls for service. 253 traffic summonses, 77 arrests, and all this with only 7 hours of overtime. This is exceptional. I mean, thank you, Chief. And 1 Narcan deployment. As I said, we have shared service with Barrington. There's Kate back there. She runs the EMS over in Barrington. And we're so fortunate that we were able to work out a wonderful shared service agreement last year. And it has been very successful. Barrington handled 196 calls. Of that, 46 were to Runnemede. Their response time to their location here in Runnemede was 5 minutes and 12 seconds. So with those 46 times that they were here in Runnemede, they had a total of 626 calls for the year, and Runnemede 161 for the year. So that's kind of interesting. And it's really been a very provable service. And like I said, it's 100% coverage. So we're very fortunate to have that worked out. And that's my report, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you. So do you like doing better without the competing with the clerk's report? You get to...
Oh, yes. Yeah, because I'm doing the same thing she's doing.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, public events, Ms. Passio?
Oh, thank you, Mayor, thank you, Council. 9:30 a.m. on Saturday will be the Rotary Club's birthday hunt down in David Vanilla Park / Green Acres. So hopefully all the kids will be down there collecting eggs. And then at 11 o'clock, we are going to have our Borough Parade going through town, and the Easter Bunny will be giving out all kinds of stuffed toys. They're really cute. They are so cute. And that's about it for now.
Is that Saturday? Guys?
That's for Saturday.
Both are for Saturday.
Yeah, the Rotary Club was supposed to have it last Saturday, but because of the rain and all, so thankfully it's going to be nice. Yeah, so make sure your grandkids are watching and down there. Yeah, okay, good. Progress.
Okay, thank you. Engineering, Mr. Powell?
Thank you, Mayor. Reconstruction of Harding Avenue and Payne Avenue, New Jersey DOT. Council accepted option 1 of Bach Association proposal and of the NJ DOT grant for resolution 3341 with Harding Avenue as a base bid and Payne as an alternative bid. Survey and base plans have been completed. CDBG construction on 1st and 2nd Avenue. Council also accepted Bach Associates' proposal for resolution 3340 with the West 1st Avenue as the base bid and West 2nd Avenue as the alternative bid. Also, reconstruction of Manor and Bowers. Construction completed, punch list repairs and final closeout of the project is expected in April. Forest Avenue, also a contractor completed punch list, repairs and final closeout of the project in April. All the rest progress.
Okay.
Busy.
I do want to add one thing that just happened last night. I went to the community block grant, the CDBG meeting, and I just want to say thank you to our engineer and our CFO. If you remember back in 2019, we talked about improving the bathrooms, making them ADA compliant down at the gym. Remember that? We talked about a couple other things. And Bach Associates had done a preliminary drawing at the time, but funding, there was no funding. At the meeting I went to last night, there's some opportunity out there that there's money that has not necessarily been spent by other municipalities. And the way it works is, if they don't spend it, another municipality can step in and possibly, if they have a shovel-ready project, get it done. If you guys remember, the same exact scenario happened when we did the parking lot and we put the elevator in this building. We were able to use the money that we had gotten, plus CDBG money. I think back then they gave us $500,000 to do the project. So the same scenario has sort of happened again. A lot of towns overextended themselves, can't get the projects done for many, many reasons.
Is it only in our county?
It's only in our county, and we're part of a consortium of certain towns. And so it's the old use it or lose it mentality. So we have, Mark is working to get an updated proposal. We don't necessarily have a shovel-ready project, but we have a preliminary drawing.
This isn't redoing them, this is adding on to it?
This was the, Mark, if you want, it's the addition.
Building an addition towards the Wawa.
Yes.
Yeah, so that the entrance would be, remember how hard it is, the entrance would be better, the doors would be, improving the doors, improving the
We
bathroom.
also consider state, right?
Yes.
We did talk about that, I think it was out exterior.
Exterior.
Yeah, yeah, and there's an opportunity when the construction, to make that area look a little nicer. You remember that?
That's really.
It wasn't on your drawing, but there was some talk that if you were gonna do this, to have an ability to make it even more. But at this
You
point,
just have to be careful with that because CDBG will only fund things.
well, we'll do that first, and with the knowing that we might do more. If we can get the bathrooms and the access. Now, remember, I keep reminding everybody, all the voting is happening at the Harry Williams building now. So this actually makes our application much stronger because we're utilizing the building for blood drives, elections, early voting, all those activities that are going there, and the bathrooms and such are not there. So we're going to try. There's no, once again, we don't know if we're going to get it, but I wanted to add that because that just happened last night.
So who's going to go after those funds?
So the way it works, it would be, once we have the drawing, council would have to give them okay to draw it. We could then submit to CDBG to try to, what they call supplemental funds, and try to get the supplemental funds. If we can't necessarily, if they don't do it this year, we may be first in line for next year.
Can we just give the approval now?
Well,
I don't know the cost.
yeah, they want a shovel-ready project, which basically means drawings.
So we had drawings. He needs to start
We have
working.
preliminary drawings, not like blueprints to build something. There's no foundations, no.
But he hasn't approved to start working.
Well, that's what we're giving him.
Yes.
We're giving him, he's going to give us a proposal. No open check. He's going to give us a proposal.
We wanted this,
So the ball's in his court.
we've wanted this for so long.
It's in 19, so he's going to give us a proposal.
Okay.
That's
Council, we agree to fund the drawings, and then we can apply. I
Wonderful.
think it's a good opportunity. In worst case scenario, we have a drawing that's kind of sitting there when these things happen, because it does happen. Okay?
Great.
And then if anybody's not aware, I missed the meeting that I believe Mark and Shelley were on with our sewer extension project. Were you able to get on it?
Yes.
And we now are going to be able to go out for bid within 30 days of that meeting date that you guys were at, is that correct?
We still have to send something to DCA, but we're looking to advertise and then hopefully we'll work together.
It's quite a project. So you were at the meeting, I wasn't on the meeting, so I believe that they said if we did all this stuff, we could advertise in 30 days, so that would be a positive thing also.
So when will we get the shovel in the ground and start?
I have one in my car.
30 days. 30 days.
Well, if you remember, Eleanor, it's going out for bid. He's going to give them a certain amount of time for them to come back with numbers. It has to come back to council. Council would have to award it. And then there's a mobilization period of time. So everything could be a few months for this all to come together.
I only ask because I have friends that live there and they're waiting patiently.
So what I intend to do is, as soon as we feel that we go out for bid, I intend to put a letter out to the residents. We've been talking about this for a while. There are many residents that are struggling, and we'll let them know that we're at least going out for bid. But it's still subject to a lot of things. The bids have to come in at the right numbers, and all the other things that have to align for this stuff to happen. But we're as close as we've ever been. That's the only thing I can say.
Now the pump station, we bought the ground.
So the land, Mr. Long went to settlement, or son, well, one of us settled. Who settled?
I don't know.
Did I settle? We own the land at the end of Evergreen now. It's been a long project.
Right, I know. So when will we start building that?
Eleanor,
I mean, just, the thing of it is, I have
you're
these
beating me
friends.
up on this, Eleanor. It all I'm not in control of it. It all comes together in a very regimented municipal land use contract law process. We have to follow everything to the T. And throw that in there, DEP. Tell them how long it took DEP to approve.
It's 5 years.
It's been years.
5 years.
I don't know if it's been 5 years.
I'm not gonna live long enough to see the end of it.
Eleanor, yes, you
Yes, you will, just to torture me.
Stop.
For the next 3 years. Once it gets done, I believe you have 270 days. Is that what the contract says? From the time the contract's awarded, they have 270 days for substantial completion, which is 9 months. It's a long time, but it's a huge project. It's huge.
Oh, it's huge.
Okay.
Public Works.
Public Works, Mr. Lowenstein's not here, but I'll at least report one, well, I don't want to take your thunder. Have you seen what they did to the fields?
Which one?
The Babe Ruth field.
No.
So.
I mean, the older kids ones,
The
right?
big kids, I call it Babe Ruth, I don't know what it's called, where Volts is playing. They did take out some of the excess dirt
And grass.
and grass, and they redid it. And it looks very nice, and they're gonna finish them out next week. And I'm hoping that the school board is gonna help us out and pay for a new scoreboard, which will say, welcome to Runnemede, but also home of the Runnemede Hawks, which is because that's their home field. So.
That's great.
That would be nice. So hopefully we're there. Parks and Recreation.
There you go, it's done. A couple things going on. When baseball signups are pretty much done, but they're starting practices. There's about 4 or 5 T-ball teams, couple coach pitch teams, 1 minor and 1 major team. Baseball's opening day is April 22nd, and I think they're trying to get the parade going. They'll probably start the parade at 9 in the morning, so everything will be done by 11 and games. I think Jeremy's talking to Burns about that. Softball's the same thing. They're working on fields. They're looking good. Their opening day is April 29th at 4 p.m.
In the afternoon.
In the afternoon, yes. And then basketball never ends.
Not ending?
No, basketball's having, I guess, a training session for kids who want to come volunteer. The coaches and everything's volunteer Monday through Fridays. Not every day, but within that time frame. No weekend and no scheduled games.
So the thing I remember is.
That's after about, what, 11 weeks?
Yes.
Is the election's coming up. So
No, with anything if anything, the borough or there's a time there that needs to be done,
It's blocked out.
it's blocked out.
Yep.
Yeah, because the county's gonna be putting in electrical outlets.
Yep.
The borough has to put in some electrical outlets.
And they understand that if something comes up, that they can't have access.
Okay.
Harry's communicating.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Because we also talked about with elections, a window on either side, remember, because of the equipment?
One day
You did
before, 2
mention like
days
a
after.
day. like-
Yeah, you can have-
Oh, window meaning they should be closed the day before and the day
That's
after.
fine, that's
Yeah,
fine.
Marie's got that.
I have it all, Harry's communicating.
Anything that has to be done
Yes.
here,
You said window, I'm thinking window. but You meant no activities the day before, no activities the day after. Okay.
all that,
All right, great. Progress.
and the rest is
All
progress.
right. Solicitors report?
We're allowed my report.
Okay. Engineers report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I submitted my report in writing.
Get the microphone there. So
I'll be kind of.
you might have to push the button for it to be green. All right.
All right. I submitted my report in writing prior to your caucus. Bob covered most of it, and the mayor added a few things, so I've pretty much covered. There's a few things to add. I've been working with the solicitor on a flood damage prevention ordinance, and we have to submit a draft copy of that to DEP by April 17th, so Dan's on top of that. He probably didn't want to report on it.
We talked about it in caucus.
Okay.
So we don't have to pass it, we just have to send them a draft?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
CDBG application for West 2nd, West 4th, West 5th, and West 6th was submitted. One thing we should talk about is open space applications are due May 1st. I don't know if you want to put in for VFW Park Phase 2.
I think that's what we talked about, there wasn't enough funding to get the park done properly,
So.
correct? I mean, 25,000 wasn't gonna cut even the cost of the equipment, I
That's
don't
what
believe.
I thought, I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that, that's what we're going to go after.
But do you put in the application that we're gonna put some of our own money? I think there was talk about replacing the fence, I think the fence was in poor shape, so maybe we say, does that help us when we say we're gonna pay for the fence?
Yes, it does. So we'll start working with
This is by the
DPW, get that,
VFW.
Yeah.
so we'll get that application started and coordinate with DPW on that. And I'm also going to be working with DPW on the pump station H, which is going to be fed by that Horton project for the.
About Evesham Road?
Yes, on Evesham Road, and so I'm working with them to try and find out what the fair share value that they have to put with their application for upgrading the pump station.
So which pump station is the Horton project going to use?
Pump
Florence?
station H, no, it's pump station H on
Which-
Evesham.
Evesham Road. It's the one on Evesham, off of Evesham Road.
Oh, okay.
It was built many years ago for that whole development area.
Right, it just needs some upgrades.
So it just needs to be upgraded to handle Horton?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. And that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions on it.
The only thing I'm going to warn everybody is, because you made me think of it because of the development, is the warehouse on 9th Avenue is trying to get, you remember there was a warehouse that wants to be built
Oh,
on
they
9th
have a
Avenue?
dump there or something?
Yeah, so they're trying to get in front of the planning board, but they're also part of our pilot program. We may have to have a special meeting for council to meet with them, because I believe we might have to appoint them as the redeveloper, so that they can go in front of the planning board properly. I'm gonna find this out, I only got a phone call the other day about this, was normally the step is, we make the decision, they go in front of the planning board. They've already submitted their application to the planning board because they've got a time constraint. They have to get this project started before a certain date. So I believe Mr. Pasanente already has the financials pretty much done, but council would have to approve them and appoint them the redeveloper. So we
Is
may
that-
have to have a special meeting, apologize, you get to have a special meeting.
What's the story with all the construction material? They said that that's one of the reasons why they have the holdup.
Well, that is on them.
Somebody was using it as a
But
dump.
that's on them. They have to do that meets all construction standards. All we're doing is dealing with the fact that we want a warehouse, which I think it's a permitted use, and then the financial agreement that we're making with them, council has to approve that
It'll be a pilot.
before, yes, before they go in front of the planning board.
I'm sorry, maybe I missed something, like,
Yeah.
warehouse for,
On 9th
I
Avenue.
know, I know all that. What type of a warehouse?
It's just I hate to say, it, he told me it's a spec warehouse, exactly what he built next to it. You remember, there's a bunch of different tenants in there, he's just gonna build the exact same thing with just a bunch of tenants. I mean, if you know who's there, like, isn't Roto-Rooter there, and, I don't know, who's in that? There's a bunch of businesses, I apologize, I don't know every business in there. Is that who's in there?
I see.
Okay, great. So they want to build, I think it's 80,000 square foot building back there, which is great for us. And that's what it is permitted. The only thing they want from us is the pilot program, which is very beneficial to us financially, which makes Shelley happy. That's my goal, just make Shelley happy, so she doesn't yell at me.
We tried.
Okay, let's go on to the rest of the business. So just giving you a heads up, if that comes up, I'll let everybody give you notice.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was just kind of.
he was taking
Morning.
questions.
All right, first thing we have is Resolution 2350, which is a resolution reaffirming the position of fire captain. Just so everyone remembers, Mr. Kearney was appointed the fire captain provisionally because of pending civil service. Civil service took, 3 years to get the test done. He passed the test. So this is just a resolution that'll go in his file that basically reaffirms that he is our fire captain. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein is absent. Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
You say 5-0.
Oh, sorry.
Bye-bye.
Five ayes, one absent.
Yep. And then I say the resolution is adopted.
Okay.
All right. Resolution 2351 is a resolution confirming 2023 appointments. This is for a part-time, I'll have it in front of me again, a part-time Public Works employee.
Yeah, this is for the Slater one.
Oh, Slater, I'm sorry.
And the
And the
green
green
team appointment.
Okay, so yeah, let me read it, I apologize. Green Team appointment is Ellen Reese, the 2023 member of the Green Team. And in the Runnemede Police Department, John Angelucci is a SLEO 1. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Mr. Ranieri. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cassia?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Waldenstein, absent. Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
All right, that resolution is adopted. We have payment of bills. Would someone like to make a motion to
I'll
pay
make
them
a
up?
motion to pay the bills.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Shapiro. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
All right, the bills should be paid. Okay, so now we have, this portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone and state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Siobhan Funches. My husband Samuel Funches. We reside at 409 High Street. We're here to follow up on our previous communication regarding the dangerous condition of the trees on your property that are posing a safety risk. My husband and I attended the last council meeting and shared that our car and our home had been damaged by a large tree that fell. On March 9th, we sent an email that read, "We're writing to bring to your attention a safety concern regarding trees located along High Street. The trees in question have already caused property damage and pose a risk to public safety." On February 11th, 2023, a large tree fell and damaged our home and 2 of our vehicles, resulting in $11,000 in damages. Fortunately, no one was injured, but the incident could have resulted in serious injury or even death. The trees continue to show signs of instability, and it's only a matter of time before branches fall or another tree collapses entirely. As a concerned citizen, I request that the township take immediate action to remove these trees. They pose a serious safety risk to the public, and the potential for further property damage or personal injury is too great to ignore. I understand that the township has a responsibility to maintain public safety, and I urge you to take swift action to address this matter. The updated total for one of our vehicles is now $17,000 and is still in the process of being repaired. The lack of response from your end is causing us significant distress and frustration. The safety of our family and our property is of utmost importance to us. We are requesting your immediate attention and action in addressing this matter. We urge you to assess the trees on your property promptly and take necessary measures such as tree removal or trimming to prevent any potential harm to our property and the surrounding area.
Sure. No?
I,
Did you want to respond? Or?
so what I thought was that we were looking into it with Public Works. I know Harry's not here and Craig's not here.
Can I respond?
Yes.
Okay, so 2 things we found out, that the land is not our land, so that's one. Second thing is we've hired someone to assess the trees. The original gentleman we sent out there was not certified to give us an accurate determination. Once we have a certified guide that's going to go out there and look at every single one of those trees on that property, more than likely, what's going to happen is we are going to notify the property owner on the other side that he's responsible for those trees. Now, where you're getting the information, and I hope I can address this to you, is I don't know where you got that information. I understand that you're looking at the road and you're saying the center line of the road and things like that. But we did do our research and we did do case law and we looked into it. And the right of way, and even in our borough ordinance, the right of way is determined not necessarily where the meets and bounds are, but the grass, as everyone knows, they have to maintain their own sidewalk in front of their property, even though they don't own the sidewalk. They have to maintain the curb, even though they don't own the curb. They have to do that. On my street, I have no sidewalks and curbs, so I'm responsible to cut the grass wherever it is, even though it may be in the middle of the right of way. So our ordinance and case law is basically saying to us that the property owner on the other side is liable. Even though I know you spoke to him and everyone's saying it's not, more than likely, if we have a document that says that those trees need to be removed, we will cite him and we will force him to do it. If he does not do it after he's allowed his due diligence and he's allowed his rights, we will take him down. And this is what we have the power of doing, take it down and put a lien on his property to do that. So that's where we're at. And I do apologize that the gentleman who went out there wasn't able to give us the answer we wanted to get. And the goal that we had, Mr. Wozon brought a gentleman out there, and then when he found out what we really wanted, he basically said that his credentials didn't allow him to make that determination. But that's where we're at with it right now. So I hope you accept that if it was our, when you first came here, and I apologize again, when you came here and said that it was our land, first thing that goes through my mind is I look at the map out there, and anything that's green is Runnemede property, and we are responsible for anything that's green on that, or the school district, or the public utilities. But if you go out there and look at the map, you'll see it's not green. So that is not our land. It is simply just the right-of-way of the street. Doesn't mean we don't have responsibility. You're 100% right. We have responsibility to take care of it, but we have to go to the right person. And if it is a public safety at risk, I just need somebody to tell me it is, and then we'll take care of it, which I will let you know we have done before.
So I'm just letting you know that right down the street, there's a new family that's moved in probably a couple months ago. There's a dead tree that's leaning on another tree, and when we just had the storm reaching, I seen the tree that is leaning against sort of coming this way.
So this is on the property across the street?
Yes.
Do you have the address for that, Mr. Prentice?
It's 2 down from us, so I guess our next guy.
Yeah,
We can send our code enforcement official there. A dead tree is much easier. It's easy to just say it's dead, take a picture of it, and then send somebody a letter saying they have to take it down.
And the tree next to the tree that fell is also a dead tree. So if this tree falls, it will hit my home.
Yeah, so anything, dead trees, you know, we should be able to handle that pretty easily. I think some of the live trees that we were talking about, if they're considered hazardous, I know you guys really wanted all the trees taken down. If it's deemed that they're hazardous, we'll do our part to get it done. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I wasn't allowed to talk. The lawyer told me I wasn't allowed to talk at first, and then he says I can talk.
I didn't know he knew that, but I didn't know that, so.
Yeah. Do you have a question? Don't say that. Yeah, Harry did take a gentleman down there from Gloucester Township, but he was not able to get the letter that we wanted. Anyone else from the public, please come to the microphone, state your name and address.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. My name is Brett Scully. I live in Woodbury Heights, New Jersey. I'm the head baseball coach for Mary Bowles Middle School. And I wanted to take an opportunity tonight to come out and thank you and your Public Works Department for all the work they did on the field that we use. It was kind of dangerous last year where third base kind of ramped up, and they took out all that dirt and they leveled everything out and made the field very much more playable and safer for the kids to play on.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take an opportunity tonight to come out and thank you and thank the department.
Really appreciate it. And once again, if we weren't told that, you know, we had coaches tell us what the issue was, that the ball would roll and could roll up and things like that. They took almost 10 inches of dirt out. I don't know.
Yes, I was actually there while they were doing it.
Oh.
We practiced out in right field that day while they were doing it.
All right, so now help me with Mr. Iannucci and you know, Mr. Shaw, make him reach into his pocket and take out a new scoreboard.
I have no control over it.
You
do have a couple
Hawks
contacts.
baseball, that's what you want to see.
I do have a couple contacts that work for Pepsi that might be able to help in that.
Well, you know, I mean, that's what we had for years, but to me, the most important thing is putting the name of the school up there, the name of the town up there, and school's got money.
Don't put them in the position school's boss.
Thank you, appreciate you coming out here.
Yeah, you don't get enough of that, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else, please come to the microphone.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, Kathy Gregory Walker from 145 East 3rd Avenue in Runnemede. And I want to let you know the Love and Meet Pipe Jam event is coming along, very exciting. So now I'm asking for approval, official approval to get the big banner put over Clemens Bridge Road and how to do that.
So Clemens Ridge Road is owned by the county. And the one we used to do for the, we might have approval for it because we've done the yard sale there before.
East side of.
On the east side, yes.
And that is Camp County.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you get the banner and, you know, the only thing is we don't have a bucket truck right now, so that's where the little difficulty of getting it installed. I believe the cable might still be there, but get the design, send it to us. I think we'll be supportive of it. We've done it for the yard sale in the past. Do you remember which one? Right out here, right by the entrance to the building.
I got it from Daniels.
Yeah, Bandles, I think she did it, and it's a heavier weight.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But maybe we can make arrangements to borrow a truck from Barrington or Belmar, Gloucester Township to do
So
that.
did you just get it made, or do we see the proof?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So Heights in Progress, who we partnered with, is going to get it made. Do I need to send you like what it looks like?
Sure,
Or
just make everybody happy.
Okay.
Before it's made?
Yeah,
Like maybe they'll have a.
once again, you have to do a drawing to order it, so the
Right.
drawing before she orders
Just
it.
want to be clear with that.
Yeah,
They send you a draft, they make sure everything's okay.
she'll tell you the size,
But do it soon because they are a little slow.
Yes, yes. we
and then
have
also
your-
to get Public Works to figure out how we're gonna get it installed.
Okay, very exciting. All right, well, and then I got an email last night from a volleyball club, the South Jersey Volleyball
So
Club.
if you heard, the building is just overwhelmed between St. Teresa's and all the other
No,
activities.
they
I read
want,
it.
they want to buy and redo a building. They don't want to like rent a building. They want a lot or something to make their own facility.
Well, then they would just, whatever they want to do.
Do you know any places where there would be like a warehouse?
Tell them to hire a realtor.
Okay, so we don't know anything. Okay. I didn't know like we
You know,
all
a
have
person
to
knows
inside
their own
knowledge.
needs, they know what their needs are, they know
Yeah.
what they're looking for, and, you know, while we're promoting business in town, you know, Mr. Pasente, he's helping us out for redevelopment, but I don't believe that someone wanting to rent a warehouse area, I mean, the warehouse on 9th Avenue,
I think they want to buy it. I think because they're willing to buy a lot and build their own.
well,
Yeah, okay.
maybe the chamber can get a list of all properties that are open and
I
available.
just thought maybe the council mayor would have an idea of some vacant places for sale.
Hit the ball.
I'm thinking.
Like, wouldn't it be cool to have a volleyball, like, they're like the top in New Jersey, so to say, like, oh my God.
There's grand,
Well, I thought
there's
that the
grand
email-
there on 9th Avenue that they want to build. I think the real estate agent would love to talk with them. They're-
I thought when I read the email, maybe I read it too quickly, which is the problem sometimes, I thought they wanted to use the gym, and the gym is
No.
just busy every single day.
No, they want to actually like buy a place and use that. So
There's a
Tell them we're
lot
all
of
supportive.
ground. There's a lot of ground there.
I'll tell
You
them
know
that. On 9th. Okay, I'll tell them that.
Yeah, it's cheap, $1 million.
Oh, there's all signs.
I mean, they're looking for something, they're from Cherry Hill, but it'd be.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak?
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening. Mark Jones, 114 Simpson Avenue. I'm coming as a parent in Runnemede. When I first moved to Runnemede in September of 21, I literally stalked this town to find activities for my children that I was going to bring to town. I came in this building, went to the front desk, went to the library, looked at their wall, right? There's nothing. I've been here now 18 months. My kids are involved in things, but only because I've stalked and met people in the community, right? But we have a growing community, a lot more families coming. As I understand, we're looking at adding more homes, bringing in more families. But we don't have a true Parks and Recreation department. So things continue to happen where right now it's supposed to be soccer season. I understand there's an issue with the fields, but I know of 5 families that are no longer going to participate in Runnemede's in-house soccer because nobody told the families we have an issue with the field.
So,
Part of that is coming from things being separate. Everything is run separately. My kids are literally in every sport. So I know that it's going to take time for you guys to figure this out, but the disjointed thing that we're doing currently with sports, it's not working for the families in Runnemede. People have asked for travel teams, and the response that we normally get is we don't have enough kids. It's not true, but if Deptford's travel started soccer 4 weeks ago, and we don't have a true program running here, that's why we don't have, the ability to do it here. So I would ask that the borough, athletic director maybe, or just the Parks and Recreation, but somebody, not just put it on you and, different people report things, but a more centralized way so that information goes out to the families. We could post things appropriately so that people actually know what we're doing, with kids. I have something else, but I wanted you guys to address that if you could.
well, the only thing I'd like to address is obviously, we support, obviously, the youth athletics in the town, but we don't manage it. You know, if your kids are involved, that the RY manages all those sports, the girls softball manages their sports, and we just support them. We do not make the teams up, we help the schools, but we're not actively involved in the day-to-day activities.
This is what I'm asking for.
And I understand that. And so, if you heard the finance director in the beginning, one of our goals is also how do you weigh property taxes and providing all the services. We've tried to be more engaged with the organizations. We do rely on their leadership to put things together. I would ask for you to get more involved in the leadership that's down there, and maybe we could bridge the gap between the girls and the boys and all these different activities, and the borough could be more involved. I just don't think we're still not quite there, and maybe some of these moves we're trying to make with the new homes and these pilot programs, we might have some additional funding to have a personnel that, you're right, could put everything together. We've been slowly going that direction. If you had moved in here 12 years ago, you would have saw that we really took over a lot of the fields and buildings. The last step would be to be more engaged with the leadership, but we're not there. We're not quite
The
there.
pandemic had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, and the pandemic made a big difference, but, I appreciate your concern about what's going
So are
on.
you saying that what we need is the money to do it?
Everything comes down to money, yes.
For the salary for the director.
You say you want to have a director of something like that.
Right.
Right now, we've had such a successful basketball season that we went over budget on our cost to open and close the door at the.
That would be me, Mr. Jones.
Right, I'm getting ready to address that.
So, but once again, we were in government, we work with a budget. So if at the beginning of the year, we think something's going to cost a certain amount of money, it's not easy just to plug it from somewhere else. I always try to take it out of, clerk salary and wage, but they get mad when I want to take the money from there. Right? You're not the clerk yet. So, did you have something else that you want to add?
So just to address that, if we went over budget on the young lady that's opening the gym, then the budget stinks because we're not paying her enough for the time that she's putting in for the kids that are actually in that gym.
I appreciate that.
So again, maybe we need to look at some prioritizing of the children in town, right? We have soccer fields that flood every time it rains, so parents are paying hundreds of dollars for their kids to play soccer in Runnemede and get a half of a soccer season. Because anytime it rains, there's no soccer for a week down on those fields. Kids are coming, basketball has been great for tons of kids because it's a gym, right? A lot of kids can walk there. We don't take advantage. I believe I spoke to you when I first took my granddaughter out on the softball fields. We have these creeks, we have all this beautiful walking area that kids could actually walk to and be a part of the community. But as a parent in the community currently and coming to a couple of meetings and hearing some of the talk, the children and focusing there and focusing how we spend money there has no longer been a priority in the dialogues. It's great to grow Runnemede, it's great to get new buildings, it's great to get dispensaries, all of those things are nice. But what about all the kids? What about all these families that you're getting ready to move in?
Yeah, so first of all, I disagree, because when we first came on council, the budget for the recreation was zero. When I got on council in 2008, the budget was zero. And what we did back then was we simply wrote a check out, and there are people here who could testify to this. We gave a check to the organizations and said, it's yours. We actually had a lease. Our predecessors had a lease that said, all the parents, you're in charge. We're going to loan you, we're going to rent you this property for $1, and you're in charge of the property. And I will give credit. That's how I got involved in this, and got to this seat right here, because I was down there with one of those parents, cutting the grass, mopping the floors, coaching. I coached every single year for a decade. And then finally we had a good group of people come up here that actually, I agree with you, we did put the recreation and the children. I wouldn't say we put them first, but we put them on a seat on the table. Because I would argue that the public safety, police would say that what they do is very important. Fire would say what they do is very important. So this is the balance of government, which is really difficult. But we've been really going in the right direction, and I agree we can keep doing better, but more people getting involved and helping makes a difference. So to give you, just to add to what you're talking about, right now, the youth athletics, they couldn't even pay their electric bill. So the borough had to step up and pay the electric bill. The girls softball was having such a hard time, they couldn't pay their water bill. We came in and took over their water bill. The Scout building became so decrepit that we went in and purchased it from them.
But you know that all of those things are happening because you have different people running different things and it's not centralized. So there's nobody having a dialogue about how do we raise the money to get these bills paid in the first place.
I agree with you, the leadership
and I would also
of
say,
those organizations.
I would also say, if anybody, I know this stuff goes on the record, right? So hearing things like that, now I'm pissed off with the people that run the programs because then where's our money going? When we're paying for the things.
Yes, thank you. And my cell phone's on the website, so you can call me, and I'll come down there and fight with them with you.
Right, I don't want to fight with them, I just want the borough to help. You know, if we get funds to pay for it, if we talk to parents who are willing to put up money and say, hey, we will pay or whatever it costs to the borough so that we can have this director here to run our Parks and Recreation Department, how would the borough be able to make that happen?
Have you talked to the leadership at the RYA about this?
Yeah, the different leadership for each sport.
Each one?
Yeah, absolutely. I got kids in every sport, more than one, in every sport in town. But again, the only reason that happened is because I stalked the baseball fields when I first moved here. I stalked the softball.
Interesting word you're using, stalk.
That's what it is. I wasn't even in town. I was driving my car here, sitting on the corner, like sitting at the park, waiting to see. Like I found out about soccer.
Especially with that Yankees hat on, you know.
You're lucky I didn't come on my Giants movie. So that's it. Now I have another question. Our trash ordinance. I believe it says in there that the trash cans have to have lids.
I would.
Probably.
It does. But we give our recycle bins that are trash cans without lids.
That's a good point. I don't know.
I just got a ticket for a squirrel, well not a ticket, but you know the things that you guys send, for a squirrel knocking over one of my trash cans, and the trash falls out, which led me to look at the, what our rules are regarding trash.
You know,
and I'm being told I need to have trash cans with lids on them.
Yeah.
But my recycle bins from the borough don't meet that code.
So the only thing I can say is that the recycling bins are given to us. We get them from the state through the recycling money, correct? And Clean Communities gives us the money. The recycling bins, I think, have holes in the bottom so that the water leaks out, stuff like that. And I believe with recycling, you're supposed to rinse everything out and put it in there. So I think the real difference is, hopefully there's not food and garbage in those recycling cans. So that's the only thing I can guess that.
Maybe we should update the ordinance.
Maybe. It's not, you're the first person. And so one thing you'll learn about me is I need more than one person to tell me something. So I believe in democracy. So, but it's on the radar screen, and I'll definitely ask our Public Works superintendent about it. But I've driven around every community in the state of New Jersey, and I don't remember ever seeing lids on recycling bins. Well, no, the big ones, the 55 gallons.
I do put lids on my recycle, and it's not easy to find lids. Try to buy a lid.
But it's
You
your
can't buy a
point.
lid.
So I'm going to ask you a question.
I'm there. My squirrels don't discriminate with the trash cans with the food in it. Just so
There
you
you
know.
go.
Prices of lids are very
Well, nothing's to stop
expensive.
you from putting a lid on yours. How's that for an answer?
Our recycling cans are free to our residents.
They are free.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
I was
very
just-
expensive to come to
I just wanted to bring up the inconsistency with the ordinance. Like, you can't send somebody something that says, our ordinance says that your trash cans have to have lids on them, but here, take the trash can from us for free without a lid. And we also can't reply to residents and say, basically, well, it's free. So you can't complain about the fact that the ordinance doesn't make sense, which is kind of what I'm hearing as a reply.
Interesting.
You can't say that. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you also.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone? Oh, boy. Come on up.
Don't discriminate. Maria Vanswell, 171 by now.
We have a height requirement, that's what it was.
That's discriminating too. Actually, I'm here to follow up because I don't know whether even Richie is aware of this. I formed a meeting this morning between Barb, myself, and Harry down at the soccer fields. We have some solution. We can start playing tonight if we want. There's such a low number that we can actually take all age groups and do 3v3. When I start
And you're not gonna go in the big field, I heard that. Yeah.
so that solves, just so
Well,
everyone.
but that actually, what's interesting about what the gentleman was just saying was that we have too many kids and we don't have enough room. Now, I just heard the same thing.
No.
There's not enough kids, and they're only gonna go in the small field.
No, hear what I'm saying. What happened was, we lost a lot of our kids.
Did you hear that?
We did.
There's not enough kids, and they're only gonna use the small field now.
Because we didn't start until now. So spring soccer typically starts like.
And whose fault's that?
Not mine.
Whose
I don't
fault is
blame
it?
people.
What's that?
I don't blame people.
Okay.
It's
So
not my
anyway-
fault. I sent a text message out 4 weeks ago.
But you understand, the reason I get a little antsy about these kind of things is obviously, you know, our purview is the government. We're not running the youth athletics.
We are too late, though. Soccer is too late.
Youth athletic is too late. They came out too late with their...
Correct. Way too late. Like, Travel Kids started 3 weeks ago. We're currently, other towns, every other town, I'm still on all the emails, every single town is holding their tryouts next weekend and the last 2 weekends for fall.
So what did Barb say about that?
So anyway, we are...
What did Barb say about that? Barb's the commissioner of soccer, correct?
Yes.
What did Barb say about that? You're bringing it to our attention.
Yeah, no, I'm bringing it to
But what are
attention.
you bringing it to our attention
We've
for?
solved...
Barb is in charge as
Yes.
commissioner of soccer. Why didn't it happen?
I'm not sure.
Couple weeks ago?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I can't answer that. But what I can answer is I've squashed the problem for we can't use it for another 2 weeks. We have a small enough population that if we revert back to how I originated spring soccer in 2010, we're going to do 3v3.
That's not our, once again,
But again,
I'm sorry, Maria, this is not what we're here to do.
but I just want you to know that we're playing on the small field so that Harry can do what he wants with the big field. Problem solved. I didn't ask you to do anything. I'm telling you on record.
All right, so I'm going to say on record. So I'm going to be on record.
All right.
The leadership of the youth athletic has to be held accountable, just like I'm held accountable.
Okay.
I have no problem, and this board has no problem supporting everybody. We do not discriminate against everybody. But to come to this meeting and complain about that board, which is duly elected. Now, if they're not having elections, they're not doing all that stuff, that's not, we have no jurisdiction over the RY. The only thing we could possibly do, okay? All right, so my phone number's at 609-707-3507. Anybody wants to call me, they can come tell me, but to come here, and once again, we're here to be supportive. We're here to fix the fields when we're told. You see how nice the coach was to come here? And he didn't even know we were fixing the fields. We did it because some resident told us that we needed to fix it, and we went out there and did it. We do that. But what I don't believe we're ready to do, Rich, tell me if I'm wrong, we're not ready to take over these organizations that are running these
Soccer fields are fixed, and thank you for what you did, just so you know.
You're welcome.
The chief, I reached out for a donation for the kids for a little Friday night thing, and thank you, I appreciate it.
What about my donation?
No, it was for donuts. No, I don't need a donation, I needed donuts. And instead of getting a discount, the chief...
You made him squeeze them?
I did not make him.
Anyone else wish to speak? No? Okay. Anyone, what's that? Anyone want to make the motion to close the public portion?
I'll make a motion to close the public portion.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Ranieri, all in favor?
Aye.
The public portion is closed. Someone make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Is there a second? Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Ranieri. We adjourned at 8:17.
Mr. Farrell.
Mr. Farrell.